These are the Rocker Step running boards, and they're available for all 2010 and newer Ram HDs. Now, these boards will be a very cool looking option that will also add some minor protection to the bottom rocker area of your rig. Now, these bars will combine a burly carbon steel build along with a textured black powder coat and can be had all for right around the low $400 price point for the pair. So moving into our features block, guys, and I do really like how these Rocker Armor options do a great job of combining a rugged look, but with the functionality of the rocker protection and a step all in one. Now, as far as appearance is concerned, well, you can see for yourself. These are certainly going to contribute more of that Baja inspired look, but with the functionality of a running board, essentially giving you that traction and that footing from tip to tip, basically being a cab length option. Now, when we get into protection, I do want to preface this by saying, yes, these are going to offer some additional protection for the lower rockers on your HD. However, you should not consider these a more traditional rock slider or armor in that regard, because that's not really their intended use. I don't want you going out bouncing off boulders with these things on, expecting them to protect your lower cab or rocker area. However, some level of protection is definitely there thanks to the carbon steel along with a very cool look. Now, moving into construction, and these running boards are going to be made from a high-grade carbon steel before being finished off in a very cool looking kind of wrinkle black or textured black powder coat. Now, the boards do kick in a nice mixture of kind of angled and tubular steel here. There are some flat portions with raised traction surfaces for both front and rear passengers. And again, you are getting that footing essentially from tip to tip here. Now, these boards do get sold in pairs, and they do include all of the necessary brackets needed for a pretty straightforward install. The only caveat to that I will say is because of that carbon steel, these things aren't exactly light, which is great for protection and they just feel very solid, but you might want to have a buddy on hand when it comes to the install. We'll show you more of that in a bit. Moving into our pricing block, and these steps are going to land you in that low $400 ballpark, give or take a bit, which I would say is priced right in the middle of the pack for most non-powered running boards currently on the site. Now, I will say that these are one of the more unique looking options or designs in the category, along with a very solid build, so definitely take that for what it's worth. All right, last but not least, let's talk about that install. And again, because this is a bolt-on job for the most part, site's gonna stick with a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, a couple of hours at absolute most from start to finish. Again, they are not light, so you might wanna have a buddy help you lift them in place, hold them in place while you get those brackets secured. But now to give you a better idea of how this one might go down in the garage or driveway at home, let's throw it out to the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
For this install, you will need various ratchets, 10 and 13 millimeter sockets, and 10 and 13 millimeter wrenches. What's up, folks? Today we're going to be installing some running boards on our Ram, so let's get started. Alrighty guys, so the first thing we're going to need to do is get underneath the truck, essentially right behind our rocker panels, and we're going to find our mounting locations for our brackets. Then we're going to grab our hardware and our brackets and get those loosely in place first. So let's get under there and get going. Alright guys, so we're underneath the truck right behind our rocker panels, and we're going to find 3 mounting points that are going to have 2 hex openings and a larger oval opening. What we're going to do is install our bolt plate along with a plastic washer to hold it in place. So we're going to grab this by the elbow, get that through, and work this down into place, and you want that stud to come out in the hex opening. Then we're going to have to hold this and install this plastic washer. Now this is just a retainer to keep this from falling off until we get our main bracket on. So we'll run this down into place. Again, this isn't meant to get super tight or anything, just going to hold it in place like so. Now once you have this one done, you can do the same thing for the other 2 brackets. So now that we have our bolt plate in place, we can grab our main bracket. Now these are going to be labeled, they're going to be embossed with a P or a D. That's going to be passenger or driver's side. So we'll get this in position. Line up our mounting point. Now these 2, this elbow bracket is going to be for your step itself. So you want the single bolt hole to go onto this mounting stud, and then once we have that in place, we're going to add in a flat washer, followed by a lock washer, and our provided nut. And once we get this on, we're just going to get it hand tight. And once you have this loosely in place, you can do the same thing for the other two brackets. So now we have our main bracket loosely installed. Now one thing to note is you want to make sure the bolt plate is facing the forward hex hole towards the front of the vehicle. Now we have that in place, we can install our support bracket. So that's going to mount onto your pinch weld, which you should already have holes drilled from the factory for any mounting points here. So we'll line that up. And then we're going to get 2 of our supplied 10mm bolts to go through the pinch weld with a flat washer there. And on the back side of that, we'll add another flat washer along with a lock nut. We have that first one in, get our second one in place. Now we've got these loosely in place, we'll install our bolt from our support bracket to our main bracket. So now we'll get our bolt through our support bracket to our main bracket like so. Then on the back side of that, we're going to add a flat washer and a lock nut. Now again, we're going to leave all this pretty loose for now, and we'll do the same thing for the other 2 brackets. All right, so now that we have all of our bracketry loosely in place, we've got our step. We're going to line that up and set it onto our brackets and get our provided 13mm combo bolts loosely installed. There's one on the bottom and middle for each bracket. These have threaded inserts that we're going to line up with the brackets. So we'll get this up in place. So now we can come underneath and get our combo bolts in. Now we've already got one in place down bottom in the middle just to help hold this. So we'll grab another one. That's going to go on the back side of our bracket here. Just like so. And then we'll get the other 2 brackets loosely in place. So now that we have everything loosely in place, you want to make any adjustments you need to make so your running boards are sitting how you like them. And we're going to start off by tightening down our 2 combo bolts to pull our bracket straight with our step. So we're going to grab our 13mm socket on our ratchet and tighten these down. Now you can sneak your socket through here and tighten this one. And our next step is going to be to tighten our top nut. Again with that 13mm socket. So we have that tightened down. We'll tighten down our support bracket to our pinch weld. We'll grab our 10mm socket on our ratchet and a 10mm wrench. And once that's tight, we can tighten down our bolt from our support bracket to our main bracket. We'll grab a 13mm wrench and our 13mm socket on our ratchet. And once you have everything tight on this one, you can repeat these same steps for your other 2 brackets. So now once you've got this side installed, you can repeat the same process for the other side. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our rocker step running boards for your 10 to current Ram 2500 crew cab. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.